Hello guys, today I will show you how to use Stylized River Generator tool. You just select mesh to use the modifier on and a curve as a river, and the modifier will do its magic. You have a couple of parameters for the river: width, depth, and you can also control the width with the radius of the curve. We have two parameters to control the speed. Flow speed controls the speed of the water when it moves in a horizontal direction. Fall speed controls the speed of the falling water. The fall speed and the flow speed is not like physically correct. It is something to differentiate between the flow speed and the falling speed of the water. We do have a collection for obstacles, like this one. Water interacts with the obstacles. The system generates a foam around the obstacles and a turbulence. You have a bunch of assets distributed around the river: rocks, trees, plants, flowers, and grass. Each category has controls of the density and seeds, which controls the randomness. Some of the categories has a minimum distance, like trees and plants, because they are large. But for the flowers and grass, they don't have a minimum distance because the radius is small. You just rely on density. You can specify a selection vertex group for the grass and flower and plants, but the trees and rocks, we don't need to have a selection group for them, since they are have a different distribution. Like for example, the trees are so large, you can place them manually. The rocks are distributed in the sides of the river, and you have a parameter that controls how much they distributed from the side of the river to the middle of it. Let me show you how to use a vertex group to control the distribution of a certain category. For example, like flowers here. So here in the vertex group, I will add a new group, and with with paint mode, I will paint on the areas where I want the flowers to grow on. At first, just let me copy the name of this vertex group and paste it here in the flowers collection, like you see. And now I control where to distribute these flowers. Without using any vertex group, the random distribution will be applied. The trees and rocks are procedurally generated, but other than that, it is just a mesh. This is a new tree for rock generator. The rock are generated in one selected mesh like that, but it is inside a rock collection. So in order to the system to not treat the rock generator as a single mesh, I've created a node group. Inside that node group, I realized the instances and I just reset their position to the center. Then I splitted them to instances by the mesh island. So if you have a collection of rocks and each object rock consists of a couple of mesh islands, this node group, it will separate them. So if you don't want that, just mute this node group. See, when I mute this node group, you see, it takes all the mesh and distribute it on the river. It looks interesting. Anyway, the tree generator has a couple of parameters. I'll show you them quickly. You have a sample curve, which controls the resolution of the curve, and you have profile resolution, which is the resolution of the circle that consists the trunk of the tree. You have the radius, and you have the noise W, which controls the randomness of the distribution of the branches of the tree. And you have 4 layers of branches. Every branch has the same parameters: the length and the count, profile resolution, offset, noise scale and strength, and the angle, and the gravity. The instance count is the count of the instances for each branch, the last branches. The textures are procedure generated for the rocks and the trunk of the tree. But other than that, they are generated with AI, specifically with ChatGPT. It is not a straightforward process. You have to give the AI guides, which I have created in a Blender and feed it to. And of course, the texture of the river is procedurally generated. In every texture of an asset, you will notice these two node groups. The one called parameters, which just a single number will control this parameter for each material at once, and the emission ratio. The emission ratio controls the ratio between the base color and the emission color. I did that because I wanted to get the soft shadows that comes from the base color, and at the same time don't lose the vibrant color of these assets. So if I set that to 0, the emission color will not taken in consideration, and it will make these ugly shadows like you see. And if I made it 1, it will be fully emitted by the emission, and you won't be able to get these soft shadows anymore. So a value of 0.5, it works fine. Inside of the river material, you can change some settings like the water color or the water transparency. And there is two node groups, one which use the flow speed, and the other one which use the fall speed. And I mix between them with this attribute, which comes from the geometry node setup by taking the dot product between the tangent and the z direction. In the node group, you have a noise texture that controls these longest stripes, which generated from the falling water. You have this Voronoi that makes caustic effect, and you have a noise texture. It adds these little spots, looks like reflection, and another noise texture that controls the color, which will change later from here. And that sums up all the information that you need to know about this tool. I hope you liked it, and see you in the next time. Peace.